Welcome back. It's your lousy Florida traveler. We're back here on the banks of the Hampton Springs Hotel today, and we got a guest with us. Mr. J is how we'll refer to him. He is our ticket into the area where we want to go today. We want to travel from Hampton Springs on the Rocky Creek to where the Rocky Creek dumps into the Fenholloway. Then we're going to take that route from that point and travel back to the bridge on Hampton Springs Road on the Fenholloway. Two things we're going to look for today besides old settlements. We're going to be looking to see if we can find any burnt down remains of homes or any high ground. But we're also going to be looking for, when I was a teenager, I used to ride in these woods a lot, and there used to be a road that come in and you could walk about an eighth of a mile off to where it joined in. And there's an old well. I was told it was called a slave well. Looked like it was a little modern for that to me. Some other people told me it was a test well for the mill, different things, not sure. But we're going to see if we can find that and see if there's any markings on it. Second thing we're going to be looking for when we get over on the Fenholloway, years ago you may have heard me mention it in some videos, there's an old spring, sulfur tub, that sits on the edge of the riverbank. If that hadn't fell over in the river, we're going to go hunt that. So if y'all ain't got nothing to do, I invite you to come on and let's take a little trip and get on down this creek. If you remember last time we were here doing the crab house, I showed you where the old highway crossed. And there's the old crab house. We're going to work this bank right down the Rocky Creek to where it joins into the Fenholloway. The reason for that is we know it was declared navigable up to where this creek runs in. We know there was life on this creek even before the Hampton Springs. So let's just go down there and see what we got. Slipping down the old mighty Rocky Creek. Out of the river, not much, but right down there. This little road runs right down. Look, almost looks like an old road that comes in here. See where it goes. It goes straight down to the river. Let's walk down here and see what we're looking at. Oh, it comes right down here and opens up. Give you a little pan right here of the river. The river's flowing this way. Hampton Springs is back to the right. Fenholloway is to the left. We're still on the mighty Rocky Creek. We got a little tributary here. We got the crossover that comes off of it. Without getting on the gator. Is it soft? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a little tributary. Runs right off of it. And runs around. That'd probably be neat to check out itself on another day.
That's a little island.
With a little island right there on it. We're going to back up and try to find our way around it. We'll definitely have to come back one day and do a little hiking on that. We're going to go up this hill right here for now. Ain't no other way to say it. It's just hard going through here. We're headed on looking for that well. Trying to get to that intersection looking for that well in the ground. Last time I seen that well, I was a teenager. Now look right here, just walking through the woods. You know what that is? You know what that is?
It's like a skidder road.
That's an old skidder trail. It's a little rougher than I had expected it to be through here. So far, I have not seen a great spot to cross the river. There's old rock shoals sticking out the riverbank down there. And then you got a block of some sort that's blocking trash in the river. We're not recording them all, but this is what we're dealing a lot with, these little sloughs that run off here that we sink in. So we're having to backtrack and walk around. You can see that slough just running right on through there. Give you one last pan there, and then if we see something cool on the way, I'll turn it over. You can see the two ruts right there where the logging tram come through. We're just trying not to sink here. So on further inspection, I think we've just figured out here what we have is one of the old trams where they run a train track down. for the logging operations. It comes down through here, and it just continues to go right on. Let me get up on the top and I'll show you. You see it's all on both sides. This is your bed, and it runs right on down through the wood. For all we know, this could have been one of the trams that Rock Creek logging operation hauled some of the logs down. We're gonna walk it and see what we see. So we come out into a small opening right here, a little low area, lowland. Look at them two big old pines. That camera don't even do it justice. They stick up above everything. They're bigger around than I am. Far past what I was looking for. You can see a cave over there in the river bank. Over there. No cave right there. He can jump. I see he's on, we'll leave him alone. Try not to get on new moccasins. After you see one, everything you see after that looks like a damn snake. I got to get me some snake boots. Some kind of bottle. It says Stanley Home Products Incorporated, 2302. So that's pretty neat. I don't take stuff out of the wood, so we're gonna put it back where we found it. That way maybe the next person can enjoy finding it as much as we did. We turned over. So we've walked up now to the river, and I believe we've walked around our point. I believe we're on the Fenholloway. The water is flowing toward the Hampton Springs. If we were on the Rocky Creek, it should be flowing south. So I believe we walked around our point that we were hunting. We're gonna have to backtrack. So based off of that, we can't really figure out where the well is. I'm gonna have to do some more research. It's been a long time since I've been in here. We're gonna start now from this point where we intersect into the river here at Spring Creek, Rock Creek, and head back toward the bridge on Hampton Springs Road. Now along the way, hopefully it's still there. I hadn't been in there in probably 10 or 15 years. A buddy of mine took me in there last time I went in there. There was a big hot tub looking thing sticking up on the river. Maybe it hadn't fell over and we might see it, but we got to move fast. There is a shooting range nearby. We don't want to get caught in crossfire. Well, let's get on off down that trail and get on this creek. So as we get started right here on the Fenholloway, let me show you the beauty on this river. And it's cleaning up. As far as look-wise, the river's a lot clearer than it used to be. Look at them old swamps and flatlands. Little island right there in the center of the river. See that little island river flows around? Let's see he's on. Very beautiful through here. Okay, there's the item I told you about. You probably can't see it, but it's straight up there. We're going to ease up there to where it is. Now, I was told that this is where the hunting lodge was. And then some other old timers told me later in the years, a lot of the locals used to dump their trash around it. So like I said, it's been years since I've been up here. Man, just look at that river. That's beautiful. Little cypress trees growing out of the island. Just breathing down through the swamp. I'm trying to be quiet. Look at that swamp. You tell me Taylor County ain't got some swamps that's good enough to compete with some of the other places. They're here. We have some beautiful swamps. We got an old sulfur stream. Right through, you see those big trees turning over. Sulfur stream they went down to. Got an old tire in the river. Let's get over there and see what that is. How clear that water is right here. You can see the sulfur coming out. See the sulfur coming out the bottom of it right there. I'm sinking, but I'm trying to get there close enough to show you what we're looking at. So this would have been a tub, I do believe. You see the steps going down in it. Got some kind of terracotta in the sun. Look at how that stone was put together. Little stones. Concrete. I don't know, this seems to be a little different than what's at the Hampton Springs. What you can see, most of what I see at the Hampton Springs is brick coated with concrete. Let's walk around it before we try to step up on it, see if we see any markings on it. I don't know, that don't really look like the same type of work that I was seeing down there. You can see the steps going down in it. So let's look up in this spring and see. We know it's still boiling because we see it coming out the bottom. Looks like it's kind of terracotta line. I don't see no writing on it. No writing nowhere on it. You can see down in there old sulfur water boiling. It's cold. So that's pretty neat. So if you know anything about this, drop me a link if you know what it was. I don't know, maybe it was part of the Hampton Springs. I hadn't seen anything at the Hampton Springs broke that looked like that. It was all brick inside. This is rock inside. It's been concreted. But you can tell it was done kind of in rough sections. I don't know, let me know. Let's push on down before we go. Look at the size of that cypress stump. Let me zoom in right there. That's pretty good cypress right there on the side of the riverbank. Look at all the cypress trees growing still on this riverbank. I can hear the cars on the highway now. Several spots in the river where it branches off and goes around there, creates little islands. We'll have to come back on another day with some kayaks. Check out those islands. That'd been a good spot for a home in the 1860s. We'll definitely be back. So we're going to ease on around and follow this peninsula. We're going to have to cross at that island from this end. Be pretty neat to hike at and see what we find. Right through the swamp here without sinking. I'm trying to stay as close to the riverbank as I can. Swamp there. Here where we got several fallen trees right on the edge of the river. Let's see if we can count them from this side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we can see in this clump. See how they're mangled over one another? Right here on the edge of the river. Let's get around and get a look at these root bases and see what we're looking at. Imagine. I wonder if they all fell at the same time. All right here from the same section. So that's pretty neat. We're going to ease on. We keep easing back up to the river not only to give you a pretty pan of what the river looks like, but we're hunting for some shoals or any type of shallow area that might have been used as an early crossing. Chances are we'll have to look for those along the way in the kayaks on the kayak trip. So we come to a spot here where another little creek runs into the Fenholloway. Looks like we got an old spot here on the bank where the sand has built up through the years. Deposited, I'm guessing. A little slough coming off the side here. So we're coming up the river now to the bridge. I can see the bridge through there. Well, you've seen the swamps there. I told you these swamps are just as pretty as any swamps anywhere that you're going to see. Even on the banks of this Fenholloway. You've seen that. Banks of the Rocky Creek, both of them just very, very beautiful. Looks like the river is making a return. You can see down in it, so I mean it is a lot clearer. We did see a couple gators. We couldn't really get that on film. Did not get to find the slave whale. You see, we did find the sulfur tub on the bank of the river. Not even gonna lie, after we come across that moccasin you seen in the video, I was boogered up. Not having snake boots, it was just, everything I seen after that was a snake. So I kind of abandoned that search right there because around the area where I needed was really thick. So we will come back in that area later on, but we have cleared that on the bank. We want to do a little more on the high ground. Once we get some snake boots, we'll be back. I want to definitely thank Mr. J today. He doesn't wish to be on camera, but he was our ticket into this land. We were on the bank of the river, but we were still moving through some club property. So without being invited as a guest, you can't go down there like that. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all joining me. We'll see you back here next time. We're going to take another little trip.